is 0-2 on overs for points and 0-2 on overs for PRA. So if you've bet those two props in both games and you've taken the over, you're 0-4. You're 4-0 to the under. Obviously, that's how that works. I'll tell you what. I think the points number is going to get shattered in game 3 because now we're down to a point where it's only 17.5 going back home. I think you're going to get their best shot, and I think Rick Carlisle is going to sit him down and go through the film with him and say, we need you to be more aggressive. It's not even it's not a question of, is he going to get over the number? I mean, that's what the results-driven people will do. But I think it comes down to the shots, and he needs to be more aggressive at putting shots up. He only took 13 shots in the first 2 games. 13 in game 1, 13 in game 2. So 26 total. I think they're going to sit him down going into game 3 and say, we need 20 shots out of you tonight. And if you take 20 shots, odds are good you're going to score more, and odds are good you're going to get to the free throw line because you're going to pick up fouls either, driving to the cup or going up at the rim and get to the free throw line. He has not been this aggressive scorer. And some would say, well, that's not his game. I disagree. He hasn't taken a free throw yet in this series. Not a single free throw. He took, a whole bunch against the Knicks. He was at the line a lot in that series. 5, 6, 4, 4. He's getting maybe not a lot, but relative to 0,
Yeah.
So he's got to be more aggressive. I know he's a facilitator. He's never going to be this SGA type scorer, but look at some of these games against the Knicks. 23 shots, 17, 16. He's got to be more aggressive, and until that happens, it's hard to envision this team winning a series. It just is. He's got to be less passive. He was very aggressive in the fourth quarter, but the game was out of reach.
Right. And so what do you do at that point? That's not whatever. That doesn't add to his total a whole lot. I'm not seeing his points prop. I mean, I know it's out there at various places around 17.5, you said, but I'm not seeing it at BetMGM. I see his combined stats, his 3-point stats, all of that stuff. Do you wonder at all if the limp that we saw from Halliburton after the post-game press conference has anything to do with this? Why does BetMGM have basically every other player their points prop except Halliburton right now? Is there any sort of in between that we're waiting for?
I don't think so. I mean, I'm looking at the market right now. I don't see any hesitation by anybody else. Maybe MGM is a little bullish on it, or maybe they want to wait and see. Maybe there's also something to be said about the game being on Wednesday and they don't feel good about taking bets on it Monday. That could be the case. But I see it all over the place at several different shops. I mean, it's pretty much consensus on points at 17.5, and you could go over pretty cheap, -105, -108. That would be a bet that I would make right now, just expecting.
Yeah.
Because most people that bet props, let's be real, most people betting props are doing it day of the game. The general public, right? Your average player is going to bet these props day of the game. They're not betting Halliburton on Monday. They're going to wait until Wednesday. And when that happens, the wave comes, and maybe you do get to 18.5. Not sure why MGM's not up, but I see a lot of other places have moved up on PRA. So as I mentioned, he's 0-2 on PRA to the over, but the books have mostly thrown up a 30.5 there, and it's starting to get a little expensive here. I would bet on this being the game where he shines statistically. Now, the question that a lot of people want to talk about, can the Pacers cover and or win outright? And you're going to see a lot of support for Oklahoma City. I think a lot of people still think this could be a short series in 5. This is going to be a pressure-packed game for Indiana. And it's not that they can't perform, because we know they can. They got to get out to a lead here, Kate. I mean, they've been behind. I don't have the total minute count, but if you were to go ahead and combine the 48 minutes from game 1 and the 48 minutes from game number 2, so 96 total, I'm going to guess they've had a lead for about 5. And you cannot win a championship. Yeah, it's got to be close to that, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
How can you win a championship when you're not in control of a game? This is the game that we have to see it from the Pacers.
Well, that's the thing. You can win a game in a series when you're not in control of all of them. But to your point, how do you win a championship? That doesn't happen. The Thunder are going to control basically every game in this series. And it's not that the Pacers, like, that was kind of the MO in their previous series, or at least against the Knicks. Like, yeah, they came back from down 20 a couple times. But like the Pacers really did not control much of that series at all, yet they continued to get by. I don't think that's going to be the case here against OKC. Like, OKC is just that good. And despite being young, like, they've showed that they know how to respond. They haven't lost back-to-back games in the postseason at all this postseason. And if you look at those games in which they lost and then came back, they had wins by 16, 32, 43 after those defeats, and then another big win yesterday. So I don't see the Thunder losing more than one more game in this series, if that. And that's what the market kind of reflects. I mean, we're almost back to where we started prior to the series. Thunder were minus 700 before game one. They're minus 525 right now. Pacers were plus 500 before game one. They're plus 400 right now. So like the market's still telling us that it's going to be a Thunder win and a fairly short series, with 5 games being plus 160 right now, the shortest number there.
And the series price, I remember after game one, was minus 270 on Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
That was the first number that we saw. By that following morning, it was minus 325, minus 330. So the blitz came in. Right when they reopened that series market, Oklahoma City got hit. So what's the price right now? Well, there's minus 500, there's minus 515, there's minus 530, there's minus 540. So we have seen this basically double from where it was after game one to where it is after game two, from 270 to 540-ish. And I don't want to bet the Pacers to win the series. I think they can win game three, but I don't feel like they can win 3 more games against this defense. And I'll tell you what, the first game was a dead under, 111, 110. And there were a lot of points in that fourth quarter, 60 points in the fourth, but it was still almost 10 points under. There were some late points, but whatever. It was an under. Last night should have been an under, if not for 12 points from the bench guys in the final minute 16. James Johnson with a finger roll at the end, at the very end of the game with 23 seconds. It's a James Johnson finger roll to get the game over the total. I don't know. I think under. This is an under series. But yeah, I was looking at that last night as the game was ending, and I went, whoa. These guys, Ben Shepherd hit a 3. Then Jay Mitchell hit 2 free throws. McConnell hits a 2. Jalen Williams makes a 3. And James Johnson makes a finger roll. The bench guys in the final 76 seconds get 12 points to get this game over the total. I don't think the starters would have been chucking like that, but the bench guys love to get out there and chuck. So, all right, you have one over, you have one under. This still, like, at the end of the series, I think we have more unders than overs because of the defensive pressure from the Thunder.
I mean, you would imagine as the series goes on, things tighten up a little bit more. We've seen that in previous seasons, and I think it could be, we'll talk about that coming up here in just a couple moments, but I think that could be the way to go in the NHL playoffs as well. We've had 2 overs so far. Maybe things kind of flip a little bit and we get some unders in that series, but we will touch on that in about 15 minutes from now or so. Sam, we did the whole where's the room shtick on Friday, and SGA under 5.5 assists was minus 155. That was the third most bet prop for game 2. He goes over. SGA scales back on the number of shot attempts he had after game 1, 30 plus in game 1. He had 21 in game 2. And so those assist numbers are up a little bit. What do we expect? Like, is that the same script that we'll see going forward from SGA? And therefore maybe those assists, the over on him is the way to look?
Well, the script is basically to tune into Bet Sweats, listen to where the room is at, and then go the other way.
Exactly.
I mean, The room is usually wrong more times than not, including a bet we'll talk about in the Stanley Cup final that was very, very funny heading into game number 2. But it's just wild how the reactions come so hot and heavy to the very last game. And I totally forgot that was the number one prop. They laid what, $1.45 you said on SGA?
$1.55, yeah.
$55 to go under on his assist prop. It's so random. And as you alluded to, he goes over it with 8. He has been unbelievable in this series. I mean, good grief. 34, 5, and 8 with 4 steals, only 2 turnovers in game number 2. And, he's got 72 points in this series. And I remember Joe and I were laughing coming into this series, like, oh my God, look at the number on the series leader for points. It's minus 5,000. Well, maybe it should have been higher because nobody's going to touch him in terms of total points scored, barring some crazy injury. Knock on wood. I hope it doesn't happen. But he's gone 38 and 34 in the first 2. He was well deserving of a minus 5,000 price to lead the series in points.
Yeah. SGA also, after that game too, reached 3,000 combined points between the regular season and the postseason. 12th player in NBA history to do that. Most of the players that have done that, of those 12, have only done it once. Wilt Chamberlain did it 5 times. Michael Jordan did it 10 times. Ask people who their GOATs are. Point to that stat. MJ 10. Everyone else once. That's got to tell you something right there.
He's in some very, very elite company. I would wait if you're on the Pacers for the game. We saw this number open 5. Now we're 5.5 at a lot of places, including MGM. I don't know that we get through 6, but we could get to 6. So this feels like if you want to lay a cheap 5.5 on the Thunder, you can do that now. There are some minus 5.5s, minus 101, minus 105, minus 108. You could do that now. I do think, though, by the time we get closer to game day on Wednesday, you're going to see some 6s, at which point some people will look to pounce on Indiana at plus 6. But I like the under. Early look, 2 days out, is under 228.5 at BetMGM. That's what I would play.
I like the Thunder. I think they win game 3 again. I think if the Pacers get either game at home, it's game 4. Not sure I'm ready to lay the 5.5. But I do like the Thunder to win that game. So maybe come up with some creative way to back the Thunder